Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read. Today we're going to be doing the top 10 best Batman graphic novels. So I've been playing around with the idea of doing this video for a long time now. I've really wanted to just talk about Batman because I have collected a whole bunch of Batman comic books and graphic novels, and he's just a very intriguing hero that I like to learn more about in all of his different comics and graphic novel series. I just think it's cool because he doesn't like have an actual superpower. He's just a person putting on a suit and fighting crime. And I think that's so cool. Plus he's like a badass detective and he like always knows what's going to happen before it happens because he's pretty smart. So, yeah, I just really like Batman. And his storylines and all the things that like he has done, it's just like it's endless. It just keeps going, and they constantly are reworking it and giving us new storylines for Batman. And I just think it's awesome. So today I'm going to go over the top 10, in my opinion, best Batman graphic novels. So the first one that I have is Batman Year One. Now this is by Frank Miller, which is, first of all, Frank Miller is fantastic in the comic book world. Like, he does an amazing job. And I really liked this comic book because this is detailing Batman in his first year of becoming Batman. So he's still like kind of a rookie to the vigilante scene. And it's just him like discovering what it is to be a vigilante and how to go about that. And in this one, there is a lot of different like mafia families that he is getting mixed up in their kind of family drama. And Batman is just like trying to fight crime, but then there's these mafia families that are creating the crime, and then he's getting pulled into that whole thing. So it's a lot of fun, and it's just cool to see like this hero that you have starting out. It's kind of like his origin. Well, I guess it's not really his origin because it's like after he had already become Batman and he's just in his first year, but it's a really good comic book and it's a fun time. Then we have Batman The Long Halloween, and this one is one of my personal favorites. It's really cool. It's also still Batman in his early stages, and he's still fighting like the mafia families and the crime. But in this one, he's trying to capture this serial killer called Holiday, who seems to kill only on holidays. And in this one, you get a lot of the Joker because he's put into it too, and you find out the origin story of Two-Face. So Harvey Dent, you get to see how he becomes the villain that he is, and it's just fantastic. The story arcs in this, and just like everything all like pulled into one graphic novel. It was just such a fun time. And the race against the clock for Batman as he's trying to figure out who this serial killer named Holiday is just so cool. It was just a fun time. I really enjoyed this one, and I strongly suggest, out of all these ones that I'm going to show you, pick up this one because I think this one you will enjoy the most. It's also that matte cover feel, and I love books like that. So I just love holding it even. Then we have Batman Dark Victory, and this one is actually a sequel to The Long Halloween. And in this one, Batman is trying to solve this crime that is actually very hard. He's like considering it unsolvable, and he's trying to figure out who this person is. They're calling themselves the Hangman, and they're also a serial killer that's going on a killing spree, and now Batman's trying to figure out who it is so that he can stop the serial killer and put them behind bars. We get a lot more of Robin in this one, and yeah, it's just a continuation on the last one that I showed you, and I really liked this one too. I think it's mainly because of the writers. So Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale, I just think those two, when they're put together, make a really good graphic novel, and it's a fun series. And of course, we get more of the villains that we all love in this one, as well as the one that he's trying to hunt down. Then we have Batman Arkham Asylum, and this one's done by Grant Morrison, which is like a very well known name in the comic book industry. This one is definitely like a psychological thriller graphic novel, and it's Batman having to like break into Arkham Asylum to get to a certain villain. I'm not going to say who, but he has to get in there, and so he encounters a lot of the supervillains that he's put in this place. So you get a lot of the supervillains, and you get to see Batman go through like this journey to get to the specific person he's going to find. It's really cool, and the art style in this one, like if I can show you, well, you can't really see it that well, but the art style is like super artistic and it's very like not your classic comic book that you would read. If you've ever read the Sandman series by Neil Gaiman or Gaiman, I always mess up his last name. If you ever read that series, it has a similar art style to what this one is. And I thought like when I picked this up that it was by him until I read who actually wrote it. But that art style is really interesting and it makes the comic book flow in a very like easy way, and I like it's more focused on the art style than a lot of the actual like written narrative of the book. It's just a really cool one, and it's definitely a mind bender. You will feel you won't know what to feel after you finish this one. So yeah, definitely pick this one up if you get the chance. And of course, I couldn't go through this list without including this one, and that is The Killing Joke. This is a classic for Batman comic books. And it's not even really about Batman. This is actually an origin story for the Joker, Batman's greatest adversary. So this one is definitely one that you cannot miss. It's not very long, but it is definitely like a thrill ride. And you get to see like why the Joker is the way he is. I mean, you don't fully get to see it because like the Joker's like, he's pretty messed up, but he's a weird guy. But this one definitely gives you insight into like how he came to be, and it's just always really cool to see an origin story of a villain, because we get to see a lot of origin stories of our heroes, but we don't get to see a lot how the villains became the villains. And yeah, I definitely think you should check this one out. It is a very good, and I have been like lots of people have recommended this one to me, which eventually is why I picked it up, and I want to recommend it to you because I think that this is something that you should read. Another great one is Nightfall, and this one is a chunker, as you can see. It's also like the old comic style, so like very vintage comic books. But this one is, well, this is only volume 1. This series goes on for a while, but this one specifically is the origin story of Bane. So you get Batman in it, of course, but you also get to see how Bane came to be and how Bane came to be in Batman's life and what happens between the two of them. I mean, there's a little bit showing on the front of what happens between the two of them, but yeah, somebody might break some bones. We'll see what happens. But it was definitely a good one, and I really enjoyed getting to see like what happened to Bane before he ever came into Batman's life and how he dealt with certain things that he had to go through. I mean, it definitely makes you feel a little bit for the villains, but at the same time you're like, well, I understand you went through these things, but now you're being evil and terrorizing people, so Batman, do your thing. But this was definitely a good one. It took me a while to get through just because of like how thick it is, but I do recommend this one. I haven't continued in the series yet, but the other ones are like just as big as this, so I will keep my eyes out for volume 2 and 3. And then I have another one that is called Batman Hush. This one's actually really fun because you get a lot more of the female villains. So we get Harley Quinn, we get the Huntress, we get Catwoman, and we get Poison Ivy. And then of course we have a villain named Hush, who Batman is trying to like track down and figure out where they are, but he has to team up with some of the female characters on the front of this book to figure that out. And it's a lot of fun because like you get to see Batman. He doesn't really have a camaraderie with them. He kind of has like a banter back and forth because Batman's like a very like dark and mysterious person. But in this one, you get to see like another side of him and how he is around his female counterparts. It's a good graphic novel. The storyline flowed very well in this one, and I really liked the art style of this one specifically. Like as you can see here, I don't know, it's just like it's a very colorful and fun art style. I just really enjoyed it. And when it goes into flashbacks, it goes into like kind of like grayscale, like monotone colors. And I thought that was really cool too. I mean, other ones do that, but this one was just like a very flashy one that I enjoyed a lot. Yeah, this is definitely a do not miss graphic novel for Batman, and you should pick this one up as well. I feel like most of this video is going to be me saying like, you should pick this one up. You should pick this one up, which I stand by it. Then of course I have Batman Under the Red Hood. Now, I don't know if many of you know, but Batman has gone through a cycle of Robins, and one of the Robins in particular was killed by the Joker. That was Jason Todd. And so this is the comic book series where it's following after Jason Todd's death, and this mysterious character called the Red Hood comes around. That he seems to be like a vigilante, like he's kind of on the good side, but he also is on the bad side because the way he like deals with villains is not the nicest. I guess like Batman doesn't kill and Red Hood doesn't have a problem killing. So Batman is trying to track down the Red Hood and figure out who this character is. There's lots of surprises in this book, and it's quite a like thrill ride, I will say. I really enjoyed this one, and I enjoyed getting to see how Batman had to get another Robin after Jason Todd, and it's just interesting to see his like cycle of Robins, because the first Robin, Dick Grayson, he becomes Nightwing, and then Jason Todd, and obviously the death of Jason Todd had a very strong effect on Batman. So then going on to the next Robin, it's like it's very hard on him because he doesn't want to put that Robin in danger, but that's kind of like Robin's job. He's a sidekick, so he's got to be there to help. And he kind of like being in danger is kind of unavoidable. So you get to see a lot of Batman's internal struggles in this one with how he wants to protect, but he also needs he needs the Robins there because the Robins are like a part of his life and a part of his family. It's a good one. Definitely check this one out if you can. And even if you can't buy all these, like you can definitely check them out. I'm sure lots of libraries have them, or you can find digital editions that you can also read. Then we have Batman and Son. And this one is interesting because this is one where Batman discovers that he's actually sired a son, and his son is like kind of evil. And so it's Batman trying to like bring his son back to the good side. His son is also kind of taking up a role as a Robin. And so Batman's like trying to train him and like let him know that he can't be as violent and hardcore as he is. If you know who the son's mother is, it also makes a little sense why he is kind of like that evil demonic kid. So yeah, which I won't say any more about that because you discover that in this book. But it's just, this one's more of like a fun one. It doesn't look like fun on the front. It looks more like scary and terrifying, but it's more like a fun ride because it's just Batman trying to like keep his kid in check and like rein him in and teach him like the good ways. So I had a lot of fun with this one, and I could feel Batman's frustrations as he was going through trying to teach his son to be better. And then lastly, we have Batman the Black Mirror, and this is Scott Snyder's first like introduction into the Batman world. So it's like a whole new take on the graphic novel, which I love. I love when new artists and writers jump onto like an existing series because they can throw their own take on that series into their graphic novel. And it's just, it's like a similar story, but has such a different vibe to it. And that's why I love it so much. So this one is another kind of like murder mystery one where Batman's trying to solve this crime of this like murderer going on a murder spree. And in this one, he tag teams up with Jim Gordon, or Commissioner Gordon, as many of you know him, for like figuring out this mystery. They work a lot together in this, and I think you get to see Barbara Gordon in this one as well, which is Commissioner Gordon's daughter. She becomes an important role in Batman's life in other comic books and later on in other series with Batman. If you know, you know. I really enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun, and it was just a new take on the Batman series by a new writer and artist. So I found this one to be fantastic. And those are my top 10 Batman graphic novels. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with those choices, or if you guys have even better ones or ones that I haven't mentioned here. Let me know down below and I will check those ones out as well. I've recently started doing some Booktuber shoutouts, so in this one I'm going to shout out Nerdy Nat Reads. I'm shouting her out because she actually has a Batman shelf in the background of all her videos. She also loves Batgirl/Batwoman, and that's like one of her favorites. So yeah, and she also like, I noticed when I watch a lot of her videos, she talks about a lot of comic books, and I relate with her, so that's why I'm giving her the shout out this week. I'll put her channel link in the description down below so you can go check her out. I also mentioned in my last video that I recently partnered up with audiobooks.com, where if you use the link in the description that I put down below, you can get a free trial for 30 days and you can try up to 3 audiobooks to see if you like it. So yeah, if you want to try them out, if you've never tried audiobooks before, then definitely click that link down below and try it out. Full disclosure, I get a small commission for everybody that signs up through that link. But yeah, that'd be really cool if you guys want to help support me in that way as well. Other ways you can support me are my Patreon and my Coffee page, which I will also put in the description down below. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification button so you get notified when I post videos. I post them on Monday and Thursday and occasionally Saturdays. And until next time, keep on reading.